Once upon a time, there was a young man named Frank. Frank grew up in Ingolstadt, in the Duchy of Bavaria, where there was a great heritage of making beer. The people of Ingolstadt prided themselves in making the purest of beer, for which there was no equal. From a very early age, Frank learned to gauge the right amount of hops, water, and barley to yield a Wiesenbock, a Pilsner, a Bock, or any of the other many varieties of German beer. He became the youngest brewery boss in the famous Eininger brewery. He was particularly famous for his ability to sample beer for the correct fermentation. Each October in Frank's village, a festival was held to commemorate the marriage of Crown Prince Ludwig. There were many contests for the villagers: keg rolling, umpa-touting, one-leg marching. However, none was as prestigious as the Grand Master Beer Drinker of Ingolstadt. The contest was simple. The one who drank the most beer in a period of an hour won. From the time Frank was old enough to enter the contest, he became a formidable contestant. By his late 20s, no one in Ingolstadt could put down a Pilsner as fast as Frank could. In order to keep up with Frank, 3 people were assigned as barmen to keep Frank's glasses full. Frank's tour de force brought success to the festival organizers, as it gorged the village with people wanting to witness the phenomena and willing to spend their marks. Soon the duchy put up a plaque commemorating the best beer drinker of the land. This plaque did not ingratiate the duchy with other states in the Federation, for they too felt they had great beer drinkers. The Grand Duchy of Hesse, in particular, took pride in its great beer drinker Karl van Schleicher. After much wrangling, name-calling, and proclamations of greatest this and that, a challenge was issued. All throughout southern Germany, throngs came to view the spectacle. Odds were set and wagers taken. It had been rumored that Frank had developed a stomach ailment and was having trouble keeping food down. The odds makers had Karl 50-1. At the appointed hour, Karl marched triumphantly onto the stage, with crowds roaring their approval. Then Frank appeared, white-faced and shaky. A murmur went through the audience. Barmen with hoses were at the ready to fill the glasses. A hush swept the crowd when the flugelhorn was raised. A blast from the trumpet sounded, and mouths opened, and there was a flurry of hands, beer, and mugs. Beer disappeared at an unimaginable rate, with Frank at the top of his game. At the end of the contest, there was no contest. Frank completely overwhelmed Karl. As with all great champions, there were many challengers. Some were serious beer drinkers, while others were mere buffoons looking to make a name for themselves. Yet no matter what type of beer was used, or tricks they had, none could best Frank. Finally, all of Germany declared Frank the best of the empire. The emperor himself proclaimed in an imperial edict there was no better drinker of any kind throughout Europe. The edict was summarily denounced by the French. They dismissed beer drinking as petty bourgeois activity, and stated that only knowledgeable and sophisticated society drank wine. And for that, there was only one champion in Europe, Henry of Bordeaux. As was typical for the day, threats were followed by counter-threats, and the mobilization of armies ensued, until the Swiss stepped in with a proposal to hold a most supreme drink-off. It was agreed that Henry and Frank would meet on a neutral spot on the border. Each would fill their own container from a huge wine glass and beer stein, each constructed with automatic filling and recording devices to ensure that neither man could blame the other for his demise. Each would have 1 hour to drink as much as possible. The one who drank the most would be declared the best drinker in Europe. At the appointed hour, a cannon was raised and fired. A flurry of arms and two mouths down unimaginable amounts of liquid. Despite automatic devices, both levels in the giant containers began to fall. Frank truly had to concentrate to keep up with Henri. Was wine easier or smoother to drink? Frank redoubled his efforts. The automatic filling device now was beginning to overheat, and the level of beer sank even lower. Frank reached further and further into the stein until he lost his balance and fell. At that moment, a little girl looked up and announced to her mother, "Mother, look!"